Ladies, I'm giving you permission to break up with people that have bad hygiene. Like literally, y'all gotta stop staying with these people that got poop stains on your bed. You really got to. You can't stay with people with dirty sheets. So this was posted in the TIFU subreddit. I didn't know what that meant until yesterday. Today I effed up. She says, today I effed up by letting my boyfriend's horrific personal hygiene run our relationship. Stop doing this. That's all. The title alone is enough to say, stop doing this. She says, I have been with my boyfriend, 22, for over 2 years now. I first noticed he didn't have good personal hygiene before we even got together. I noticed he smelled sometimes. He is the loveliest guy and has the sweetest heart, so I could see past the bad sweat. Ladies, don't get with men that smell. If you notice this in the dating part, when you first meet them part, bypass it because it's probably going to get worse. Just leave these people alone. Don't try to change them because then on the back end, they'll get upset because you tried to change them. Just don't do this. Okay, let me get with the post. After a few months of being together, I noticed it was much more. For example, oral hygiene is awful. He barely brushes his teeth. Only when I remind him, he says he does, but the plaque and state of his teeth says otherwise, starting to decay at the bottom on a few of them. Keep in mind, he's 22 years old. Also, this one affects me the most, but he doesn't wipe his butt properly or at all after going to the loo. I tried to forget about it the first couple of times and put it to an accident. He used to dirty my sheets when he slept over my house, but then it started to get worse where I'd have to wash my sheets pretty much every week, which is expensive as a student. I talked to him about this crying and said how it affects me and how he needs to sort it out ASAP. This was 5 months into our relationship when I said this, and for some reason she continued the relationship. We are over 2 years now, and he still does it, and she's still allowing it. I have had this conversation with him so many times I can't count. He says he will change it and that he is trying. To be honest, I have seen some improvement from what it used to be like, but it's still happening. FYI, he is a large guy, so I can understand it may be difficult to reach around there, but it's been too long. I reckon if he lost some weight, it would help. He has been trying to lose weight for the past 8 months, but I'm not really seeing any change. I'm assuming because his diet hasn't changed. I've been trying to support him through this too. I'd really appreciate some help with how to get some change. Maybe I'm not saying the right thing. It's like he doesn't care enough about it to stop it. It's as though he's comfortable being gross. I don't understand. I don't understand why you stay with somebody for this long that makes sure, that puts poop all over the place, that has decaying teeth at 22. This is not a healthy individual at all. Decaying teeth at 22 is a hot mess. Poopy sheets is a hot mess. Putting poop on your towels is a hot mess. No. And I'm just doing this one because I want women to recognize that you do not have to be so dang on nice. If somebody smells funny, you don't have to be in a relationship. If someone poops up your sheets a couple of times, the first time could be called an accident. The second and third in 5 months worth of times is not an accident. He doesn't know how to wipe his butt, and you don't have to be the person that tells him how to wipe his butt. The comments aren't particularly important. Some of them are sarcastic, but I just wanted to do this just to remind women, stop being so freaking nice. If somebody smells bad and doesn't know how to wipe their butts and isn't brushing their teeth, this is not the person for you. This is not the person for you. Y'all jump in the comments. Let me know what you think about this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Woo, there are a lot of relationships in find out season. So this man is 34. His girlfriend is 32, and he's asking this question in the relationship advice subreddit. He says, my girlfriend and I started dating when she was 20 and I was 22. Despite having been a couple for many years, we do not live together. I spend a lot of time at her apartment and sleep there almost all the time. She mentioned marriage after 2 years. We started dating, but then she stopped. A week ago, I proposed to her, bought a ring, and made a romantic dinner. But she said she didn't want to marry me, that she preferred our relationship to continue as it was before. I'm almost 35, and I want to marry her, live together, and start a family. But now I don't know what her plans really are. I don't really know if I should continue the relationship or just break up. It hurts me but I really love her and I don't know what to do in this situation. What would be the best way to approach this delicate situation with my girlfriend, considering our differences about marriage and our future plans together? All right, here's the update. I spoke to her last night. We had a long and somewhat awkward conversation. She said that before she really wanted to get married and that she didn't expect a ring after 2 years. She just wanted to talk about it at that time to plan a better future together. When she talked about marriage, I told her it wasn't the time. Still, she waited. But when she turned 28, she realized the ring was never going to arrive. She said she no longer wanted to get married or live together. She appreciates her own space. And even though I spend time with her in her apartment, it's still her own space. Regarding children, she does want to have children, but even when the baby arrives, we will not live together. It would be like sharing custody and going out together as a family and still being a couple. She also mentioned she needed 6 months to a year for her body to detoxify from the contraceptive, but she will consult her gynecologist. She said that these are her terms and that I was completely free to accept them and continue the relationship or break up and pursue what I want. I really don't know what to do. I really regret not giving her the ring sooner. Plus, she has spent 12 years agreeing to my terms. I do not really know what to do. It didn't let me publish on my previous profile. Sorry. I like that this is where women are going. And I think more women should do like this. Maybe she really likes his company, but she just don't want him living in her space anymore. And I think that a lot of women are going to go to that point where it's just like, yeah, you're cool. I like you. You good. But no, I don't want to live with you. It's going to really, I think that a lot of this is really going to confuse the men because he's sitting up here like, I thought she wanted to get married. What am I going to do? Because before, men they were dangling a ring over women's head, and now the ring is not even the prize anymore. Women are not like, my precious, going after a ring. They're just like, no, I'm good. Okay, some of the comments. This person says, you dated for 10 years with no proposal. She gave up on you as a husband, but settled on you as a boyfriend or sperm donor because no one better came along. And they live mehly ever after. This person says, this whole story reminds me of Seattle. I know too many mehly ever afters in that city. This person says, damn, that's a real one. I got a buddy in Seattle going through the same this person says life is so expensive that you have to compromise some of your dreams to get other ones is definitely a modern trend of settling for some couples. Okay, I'm looking at some of the comments. They're just kind of talking about the madly ever after and the fact that these people, some people have to settle in their relationships. And this woman is just like, you're cool enough. You're cool enough to have a baby with, but you just got to stay over there. So I'm not going to belabor the comments, but I do want to know what you guys think about this one. I thought it was kind of interesting. So this was from a conversation started over on my BurbNBougie subreddit. She says, from an African woman. She says, I have realized something when speaking to other African women, especially from back home. Not all, but many. They are completely brainwashed and put men before everything, especially in West African cultures. And it's honestly tragic. Women whose husbands don't have any emotional or real investment in them. Men who marry multiple women who don't expect him to be a father and are told that women who suffer have better children. Like they legitimately brainwash them into polygamy, and it's hard to watch. Some of these men have such wandering eyes, and the women say things like, well, he'll cheat on me anyways. Otherwise, not like those dirty Western people, at least I know where he's going. They have convinced themselves that men are above them and do not owe them anything in a relationship, so they simply suffer and pressure other women, speak down on them. I am from a particular culture in West Africa and have firsthand seen a relative be forced to stay with her husband by family. He married another woman against her wishes. She wants to leave. They said she's a shame and they won't assist her if she does. She's not allowed back to her family's home if she divorces, so that leaves her with no options. It's a horrible way to live. The men are so misogynistic. It is horrible and is so ingrained in the culture. It even rubbed onto the women. They say stuff like, who will marry the single women? How about the single men? Do people collapse and die if they are unmarried? They literally treat their husbands like they're gods, and this is something I noticed when I went back home. I grew up in America, so I was lucky enough to see that I didn't have to sell my soul for a man and that being single is not a punishment. I also have a great father, and my parents have such an amazing relationship, just the two of them. So thankful I'm not part of the polygamy nightmare families. My dad rejects many of the values that were pushed on him and takes good care of my mother and family. The amount of entitled men, pick-me women, and instability caused by stupid cultural norms is awful. I never knew internalized misogyny until I became more immersed in my culture. They are really pushing other women down their path of dependency and unhappiness. They also actively pursue married men, saying they are better. And those disgusting men care nothing about women at all. They see women as a whole and a baby machine. That is all. I pray my fellow African women stand up and save themselves from these dynamics. They are allowing men to rule their world in every sense of the word. Men can do no wrong to them. Men are literally using their nether regions to think and have no sexual discipline. Just embarrassing and sad all around. I'm so proud of the women who broke out of this mentality. My parents, families both managed to break free of this mentality and cherish their families and encourage independence in their daughters. My mom is my biggest inspiration. She is such a beautiful person who is independent and educated. And my dad has always supported and invested in her. This was long. My apologies, but a rant I needed to do. I'm so grateful for platforms like this that encourage and educate young women. I wish I could share this with some people I know, but they would just ridicule me and call me a stupid Westerner or something. That is the reason why I have a platform, so that I can spread this far and wide. I can take her words and magnify it. And I know that she specifically left things out, so she's not identified, but these words need to be seen. And so many people think that they could go to another culture and it's so much better. But this person is able to see different cultures. She's able to see it here in the Western side and in her own country and culture. Okay, so Hovercraft says, I don't know anything about Africa, but I do remember watching an episode of 90 Day Fiancé where the man was trying to tell his wife that if she doesn't feel pain during childbirth, she won't bond with the kid. And that made me instantly hate him. Sorry, I can't respect the culture that thinks women need to suffer or they don't know how to love. That's gross. This person says, I've always wondered what that logic is. He doesn't have to suffer. Is that why African men, not my father actually, don't have real relationships with their children? The OP says, they believe men are the prize. Women are just there to serve them, essentially. It's a horrible way to think, but that's the thread that ties the global chauvinism together. Men are superior and women are inferior. Men are too good to change a diaper or cook or clean. They are too good to take care of children, which is why they have kids just to neglect them. So this woman says, I am an African woman who has lived nowhere but in Southern Africa, currently still living there. My parents set a great example for me. They have open communication, no infidelity. My father's father had more than 2 wives. My dad decided that's not what he wanted for himself. I come from a Christian background and struggle with the idea of submission. I told my dad, he told me the Bible says you have to submit to each other. My husband has a similar philosophy. I'm married to an African man from the same region as me. We have a young child. My husband participates in childcare and chores. His mother was overbearing when I had my baby. He stood up for me and asked her to leave when she was not changing. We are happy together. My parents set the standards for me and my siblings. She goes on to talk about her relationship. I am glad that she is sharing her experiences from the Southern African region. It's not all the same. That is why it's important to talk about the different regions and cultures that are there. Princess Tiara Love says, that's so great. Your parents made that change for you. It's honestly so sad. I heard countries where women are treated the best are the best places to live. Men that mistreat women are living on borrowed time. Eventually, the culture collapses from the inside. Poverty grows. I can't think of one country where women are mistreated that's a great place to live. Even the men are not happy. Who can live knowing they've made someone else's life hell? It always catches up. And that's the reason why a lot of women are opting out across the board. I'm seeing 4B. I'm seeing chants of 4B and West 4B all over the place. Mama Sa says, no lies detected. I've had to go no contact with my mother to save my children. I've come to understand her poisonous thinking is from emotional abuse inflicted in her father's polygamous family dynamic. But she's too old, stubborn, and religious to understand. Talk less change. Talk less change. Been the most peaceful 2 years of my life. A lot of people are also talking about going no contact. The OP responds with, good for you. That takes strength to set those boundaries. The emotional abuse is horrible. Some of these dynamics are just genuinely terrifying. Protect your peace at all costs. Unfortunately, many will never understand. That's the worst part. So good riddance to them. This person said, ooh, I've got stories, but I need to remain anonymous. That's the reason why you guys can just inbox me. She said, what I will say is I suspect all the African nurses are secretly the breadwinner, but allow their husbands to posture. Princess Tiara Love responds with, girl, I had an African boss once, and her husband was lazy. She used money from her corporate job to start a business, and he would lounge around all day doing nothing. And one time he even flirted with me. Ew, she was so overworked. All right, I'm gonna leave it there. It's a pretty good discussion going on. You can go over to BurbNBougie on Reddit, and you can find the conversation. Don't forget to like, comment, share. If you made it this far, go ahead and hit subscribe.